Hello there, and good afternoon. I hope you're having a terrific day. I'm going on the ongoing series of what I tell my brother about money. That's me, the big, older, wiser brother, protecting my little brother way back in the day. I've been in the financial field since last century, and my brother isn't. And so I wanted to do sort of a series of ideas that I would share with him about what I think is important and what he should know about. Today's one, really fun. Normally, I spend a little bit of time talking about disclaimers. In this one, it's just there to make my legal department happy. They're happy, I'm happy. Let's move on. There are only 3 guaranteed ways to get rich. 3. Have you thought about that? Only 3. That seems strange. I'd ask you just for a second, contemplate. See if you can get one. What's one guaranteed way to get rich? One guaranteed way to get rich. I'd hope my brother and I are sitting around a table that he'd be interested in listening to me. And that's what I'm going to share with you. So you ready? Got an idea in mind? Let's start with the first one. Simply put, you can inherit it. That's one guaranteed way to get rich. If your family has money, they pass away, they pass it along to you, you've inherited it. That's a bit sad, isn't it? Actually, quite a bit sad. Because someone has to pass away in order for you to get the dollars. Let's just move that aside for a moment. My client was 103 when accumulating her assets. So at 103, she passed along her whole estate to her one child. Only had one child. Very simple. Woo! He's living the life now because he got the whole estate. He's 83. If I can say to my little brother, the biggest challenge with waiting to inherit it is exactly that. You're going to have to wait likely a good long time. The average person in Canada is now living 10 years longer than they did just in 1970. 10 years. Why is that important? Well, because it means if our grandparents were getting inheritances in their 30s and 40s, when they might have needed it, and our parents were getting inheritance in their 50s and 60s, just getting ready to retirement, we might be waiting till our 70s or 80s to get an inheritance. So even if there is dollars to pass along, and many people will pass along dollars, that's probably not the best time to get a windfall. But that is a guaranteed way to get rich. What's the second guaranteed way to get rich? Well, I'm glad my brother will ask. Find a sugar mama. I love this little cake topper, but it could also be a sugar papa. Marry into a wealthy family. Guaranteed way to get rich. You'll get money, they might support you through your lifetime, and then you'll get it in inheritance. You can see the problem with this one though, can't you? I think a story will help. One of my colleagues at 50 was very excited. His 3 kids were just going off to university. He'd sort of shown them out the door, and he turns to his spouse and said, now we can get on and do the things we want to do. And she turned back to him and said, and you can go with them. I want a divorce. Not what he was expecting. And that's part of the challenge. Her family had the money. They provided. He had not saved because they had this money coming through marriage. Not a great idea. And I would share that with my brother. I said, yes, you might marry into a wealthy family, but first of all, it's not the best reason to get married. So see if you really love that person. And secondly, they don't always make it. So how about maybe don't do that? But you could inherit it. You could marry into it. There is a third way. Obviously, my favorite. Spend less than you make. Ooh, how exciting. We can get guaranteed to be wealthy as long as we spend less than we make. I love the little coins here. The little pink person's got this big pile of coins that they're earning, and the little green person's spending just a little bit smaller. You might have thought savings, because when I've had people sort of guess on the 3 ways, if they got into this area about cash, they did guess savings. But I realized that actually doesn't guarantee that you'll be rich. I have a client. I've been dealing with them for 15 years, and every year they're maxing their RSPs, so they have this really big pot now of assets. But as I've been pointing out to them, for almost the last 10 years, their mortgage is actually staying the same. In fact, it's grown slightly. What are they doing? They're actually spending all of the money that little pink person is making and more. So even though they're saving, I don't think they're going to have a big enough pot because they're just used to spending everything plus. And so when I looked at this third guaranteed way, I think it's said really correctly. Spend less than you make. After that, what you do with the surplus is terrific. But before that, just spend less than you make. And that is the third, and I think the one most in your control about getting wealthy. So what are those 3 guaranteed ways to get rich again? You can inherit into it. Remember, you'll probably be waiting a long time. You can marry into it. Okay, lots of fraud in that one. I would not recommend that. Or you can spend less than you make. That's the one I would recommend to my little brother, because it's the one I would say him and my sister-in-law have the most control over. Which one would I recommend to you? Probably the same. But are you curious? How are you doing? How is your plan coming together? Pause the video, copy down my email, give me a phone call. I'm happy to answer questions. And I look forward to talking to you again soon when I talk about what I tell my brother about money. Have a great day.